Hello, so a lot of you have been asking for a run through about what I do between wears with my wigs and also how to clean the lace, and I thought I'd combine all of that into one video for you. Also, there's construction going on in my building, so we'll deal with that together. A super important part about taking care of your wigs is the storage of them. You can see, obviously, I've got these big sort of industrial shelf type things holding all of my wigs when I'm not wearing them. You don't need something like that. Honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend it because this is the same room that I style all my wigs in, and it's open. A lot of the hairspray floats around and collects as this fine dust on the wigs, which it's not really a problem, for me at least, but yeah, I would recommend something more closed. You don't want them in a place with a lot of high traffic and things like that. They're gonna get squished, they're gonna get matted, everything like that. So just somewhere that they can sit and stay is kind of essential. I don't actually do too much work on them after the gig. Actually, I don't do anything. I literally will take the wig off, put it back on its stand, and then it stays here until I want to use it again. Sure, it adds an extra 10 minutes onto my getting ready process, but I'm the type of girl who decides what she's wearing while she's getting ready. They just sit here as is until the time comes to bring them out. I'm going to show you two different types of lace to clean. So I'll show you the more common type of lace. Let's go with a real dirty one. This one's kind of gross. Actually, let me get you set up properly. So this type of lace here, it's kind of the more common one available. It's pretty tough and everything. This one you can use a little bit more elbow grease with when you're cleaning the lace. You can see here I've left the spirit gum on. I don't know how long it's been since I've worn this wig. I want to say probably over a year. And I leave the spirit gum on for a reason. I'm not just lazy. I think when you try and clean the lace directly after use, the spirit gum is still a little activated. So it's quite sticky and it's very difficult to remove. So the life hack is like you're counting money kind of thing. What you want to do is you want to grab the lace, kind of like this, pinch it, but don't pincer it, just sort of pinch it and just roll it back and forth, and you can see how the glue just comes right out. Now you don't want to let this build up in your wig. I will literally just blow on it to get rid of it, or you can pick up the wig and give it a little bit of a shake out, but I literally will just go around, and let's look at the before. All this build up here, and I literally will just go through, and the longer it's been sitting on the wig, the easier it just flakes off. And I'll show you even maybe the inside as well before we go through and do this all the way around. Okay, and it's just a matter of sort of pinching and rolling. You're kind of using the flakiness of the dried glue against itself to just sort of come right off. And with a lace like this, it doesn't actually, damage it. You might get a little bit of frayage, but actually I find that a frayed edge on a lace is actually a little bit easier to blend, at least visually. You can't see it as much than you can with a rock solid, or not rock solid, but a clean circular line that's really hard and harsh on the eyes. But I don't actually notice a lot of fraying. So I'll stop here and compare. So this is the side that I have done, and this is the side that I haven't done. Now, I didn't invent this. Drag queens have been doing this for ages. I'm just gonna say, don't do this on your more expensive wigs with the nicer lace, okay? Because you will damage the lace. And I'll show you how I clean those ones in just a bit. You can literally see the glue flaking off and forming a fine powder. This is the forbidden Doritos powder. And look, part of it has come off and is sitting on the styled wig there. So you can simply just... Well, you could probably do it with a hairdryer, that's probably smarter, but like this bit here, you can do that. And honestly, if you're in a rush, that's already so much more of an improvement because you've gotten rid of all of the build-up. You can probably just get away with just re-gluing this. But I have quite a high standard for myself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just any old sort of face cloth or towel or tea towel or something like that, and I'm gonna lay the lace flat against the fabric here. I also have this really old but soft bristled toothbrush. It makes a sound because it's full of product and stuff like that, but if you just sort of like bend it, it becomes this soft toothbrush. Don't get any of the ones with like the little silicone grips in them. You just want something that is pure bristle, but just make sure, because they have different settings on toothbrushes. You've got like soft, medium, hard, get the soft one. Or if there's like a toothbrush for babies, in wherever you're from, if there's a toothbrush for babies, get a toothbrush for babies. I have this isopropyl alcohol. I bought it from Bunnings, which is like a hardware store here in Australia. But because I do this a lot, I actually have run out of this one, and I simply bought this refill online, and the refill doesn't have the spray bottle, so I literally will just top it up and put it in here. I have seen people use acetone on their wigs. Don't do that. I used to because I thought, oh my god, it's so much easier. No, you will melt the plastic, and it won't happen immediately. So you've got to do it once, and you're gonna be like, oh, this is fine. Everyone's lying. They're not lying, girl. Okay, it's gonna melt your lace, especially the nice ones. So isopropyl alcohol only. And what you do is you simply just spray it and do these little circular motions like this. And this is going to remove any makeup, any staining, maybe not all of the staining, but sometimes that's a good thing. You kind of want your lace color matched to your foundation. And simply, we're going to rotate the wig. Now this is a double stack, there's quite a lot of bulk, so it's kind of hard to sort of keep the lace flat against the thing. So what you want to do is just raise the fabric with your hand underneath and bring the fabric to the lace. And the only reason this is so easy is because I always clean my lace before I use it. If you let it build up, it's not going to do that flaking off when you do that pinch and roll method, okay? It's just going to stay there because you've allowed it to build up to a thick enough, I guess, layer that it's no longer fragile and it's no longer going to come right off. So at the very least, please, I'm begging you, clean your lace every 2 uses. You can get away with a second use, that's fine. Anything more and you are messing up the wig. And look, you can actually see through the lace now. Isn't that great? I also removed that eyebrow. I don't know if you saw that, but there was the tip of one of my eyebrows that was stained onto the lace because I glued it over the makeup that was sitting there. So honestly, that's how I clean my lace. That's pretty much it. Just remember, if you're the type to put powder on top of your lace because, you know, like to blend it a little bit further or something, then remember to take the fabric, put it here, and then go more gently from this side so that you don't muck up any of the hairs if it's styled. The next kind of lace that I'm going to show you how to clean, this one's on the Khaki Original. It's anything that is deemed film quality. And basically what that means is it's a finer fabric that they make it out of, because the lace is still plastic. And it is just a bit more delicate, and also you'll notice the holes are quite a bit bigger, which means that it's a lot easier to... Well, it's actually more difficult to see because you're seeing more of the skin underneath that you're gluing it to than you are the lace. Whereas the lace is, on this one, there's quite, I guess, small holes, which means there's more fabric obscuring what's underneath. And so that results in more visibility. Now, with this one, I highly recommend that you don't do the pinch and roll because you're going to fray the edges of your lace here. So what you'll need to do for these ones is just use a little bit of elbow grease, and that is not in the harsh sense, not in the treat it like it's been bad sense. You're just gonna have to put the work in and gently just keep removing any excess build up like this. So I like to start with the bits that have the most and just softly going around in circles. Now, once you reactivate this glue, or you make it sticky and whatever you want to, however you want to word it, what you can do is you can take some of this fabric up here and just gently press it to remove some of that loose product and transfer it over to the fabric there. And you've just got to take your time and remove all the product from the lace. This is why you want excess lace on a wig like this, because after use, like after years and years of use, or, you know, if you're wearing the same wig daily, it's going to, I guess, fray a little bit sooner than another wig that you use every now and again, of course. But you want the extra lace because you can trim the fraying and trim it, but eventually you get to the hairline and you can't trim it anymore, and that's just how the wig is going to be from then on. Another reason you want excess lace on a wig like this is because the glue is more difficult to remove when it's sitting around the bottom side of these knots where the hair is tied into the lace. You don't want to put the glue in these little hand-tied knotted section bits or whatever, because it's just very difficult to come out. And so having longer lace means that you can secure the wig onto your head without getting any glue in those knots. It's very important with a lace like this that you sort of hold it flat against the fabric, alright? You want as little movement as possible, so to not catch and pull at the fraying edges and things like that. So you want kind of a firm press against the fabric. Also, never pick the wig up by the lace, because you're going to stretch it. Another tip for any delicate lace like this one is you definitely need to clean this between every single use, because there's no cheat like the pinch and roll method for a wig like this. And so you're going to be here for so much longer when you're removing 2, 3, or however many layers of spirit gum, or whatever you use to apply your wigs. Sometimes I'm known to use hairspray, and that comes off a lot easier than wig glue. But if I'm performing in this wig, I'm definitely using wig glue because I do not trust hairspray to keep a wig on my head while I'm flipping and dipping. There we go, good as new. Now I'll take this opportunity to clean up any fraying of the lace. Don't go overboard with your pruning, I guess. You just want to get the standalone, like, single fibers and things like that, things that won't glue down. Because if you're cutting your lace into a nice, clean and smooth circular line every single time, you're just going to keep eating and eating and eating away at it until you have none left. And it's so much more difficult to pin down for styling, glue down without, you know, getting all this spirit gum in the hair and stuff like that. So look, I've taken off 2 pieces and that's good to go. So the next thing that I do before I chuck it on for the next gig is the same for any kind of wig. You want to pay attention to the nape of the neck. It's called the kitchen because it's always a mess. And you want a sort of a big brush with lots of area and kind of very sparse prongs. What are these? I can't think of the word. You kind of don't want to use a round brush like this or a teasing brush like this because the bristles are really super close together and it's going to take you 100 million times longer. And just starting at the ends of the hair, you simply want to brush it, right? It's not that hard. And work your way up closer and closer to the root. Now, if you've got a fully teased wig, you might have some teasing in here. I've started actually not teasing the last 3 tracks or so of the wigs, just because I know I'm gonna brush it out when I'm doing this process anyway, and it just makes it a lot easier if it's not teased. Now, if you've got like an updo or something like that, don't brush it out, okay? Just kind of, you'll need to change your response depending on what kind of style you have. Honestly, this is kind of the only part of my wigs that get messy, is the bits that are moving against the back of my body. Because I store them so nicely, and they don't move between wears, so there's no extra brushing out that needs to happen. Except for here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but just paying a little extra attention to the ends. I'll turn it over. And it looks like this one has been pressed against the wall. So what I'll do is I'll just lie it on its front and just give it a little bit of a shake up, a zhuzh. I actually prefer the wigs to look like, yeah, like that, like actual hair with defined curls, as opposed to completely brushed out and almost kind of frizzy looking. So that's, honestly, that's kind of it. I would absolutely pop this on to wear, but if you really want, you can sort of run your fingers through it just to sort of reincorporate those curls back together. I'll show you anything that I might do to an updo. But the good thing about an updo is that they require pretty much no maintenance between wears, except for cleaning the lace. So let's take my worst updo, I guess. Maybe this one? And we'll take a look. I'm not gonna clean the lace for you, but yeah, just, I have fingernails, so that makes it nice and easy. Or you can use a sort of more particular comb to just sort of make them look light and fluffy again, if you want. And ideally you're not pressing it down against a hard surface like I am right now, because you're just going to flatten the hair again. But just a simple little zhuzh, as Jasmine Masters would say, and then a quick spritz of hairspray, and then you are ready to go. Quite fond of this hair. She's held up quite nicely. I stored everything on a wig stand like this so that they don't lie flat against the ground and get that weird shape. They're very cheap, available online. If you buy any khaki wig, you will get one sent with you, because I'm a big fan of setting people up for success. So I'll give you everything you need to have a nice, easy, convenient wig experience. And that's how I clean my lace and store and maintain my wigs between use. I hope this video has been helpful, because, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of secrets that drag queens like to keep to themselves because they want to be the prettiest in the room. I'm not about that. We're not gatekeeping here. So, yeah. The main takeaways are probably the pinch and roll. That's the most helpful part. And I cannot emphasize how important correct storage of your wigs are. If you really want to go overboard, you can store them in boxes to avoid them like gathering dust and things like that. I have these little carry boxes, I guess, that I give to some of my local girls when they order a wig from me. And that way, when they're taking a wig or multiple wigs to and from the gig, they are not lying it flat down on, you know, the back of an Uber. When you're holding it in the wind, it's not going to get messy because it's all covered up. And yeah, I don't know, it's just much more convenient, and you can even store them on the shelf in boxes like these. Honestly, any box will do. I've just gone and found one that has a little handle on it. But yeah, little tips and tricks like that are gonna get you on your way to feeling your divaliciousness. I don't know. Anyway, hope this helped. Until next time, bye.